Hi guys. Okay, so tonight is Tuesday. Oh my gosh, I do this every time. Every time. Tonight's Tuesday. Our team call. I'm really excited tonight because our dear Corrine Earl is going to talk to us about transitioning from our customers from a free group to a challenge group. And I had a one-on-one with her last week, and she totally lit my fire when she was telling me about her new systems and stuff. And I was so excited about it. And she's like, "Hey, do you want me to speak on the team call?" And I'm like, yes, I do. Yes. Can you please share your success and your amazing systems? Because Corrine is very system oriented. I love the girl to death, and she is like system friendly. Whereas y'all know me, I am not system friendly. I try, but I'm really not. So I'm really excited to share Corrine with you, to have Corrine share with you her systems. So like always, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat box, and then she could answer them at the end. Is that okay, Corrine? I should have asked you. She's going to be like, no.
No. I expected it. I would hope for that too. So.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to just write them in the chat box, and she will answer them afterwards. But other than that, Corrine, why don't you take it away?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Vicki, for letting me jump on the call. I insisted. Like, can I do the team call on Tuesday? I just feel like I've sort of tapped into something. And like Vicki said, I'm very, very system oriented. And so I have a lot of information to share. And I just uploaded a file in Vicki's team page with all of this information. And I probably won't go into all of it tonight because for most of you, I would think that it's going to be so much information, it could become overwhelming. But to me, I'm more the type of person that if I don't know what the next step is, that overwhelms me. So that's why I need a system like, well, step 1, step 2, and if it's like step 2 is wishy-washy, it like stresses me out. I need to know what to do at step 2. So anyway, it depends on your personality. You might love it. You might be like, perfect. Or you might be like, oh my gosh, there's so much information here. I can't breathe. So you just take what you can from it and know that all of the stuff that's there is not meant for you to learn tonight. That's like basically what I put in the team file. It's all the stuff I've been working on for 2 years, and like since I started coaching, and it's just the process and stuff like that. And in there, what you'll see is like my steps to filling the free group, and then the steps to transitioning from free groups to challenge group invites, and then the transition from the challenge group invites to having them sign up, including like things like overcoming objections. There's a file on that. There's like my weekly check-in email file, all sorts of stuff. And I actually also put a link to a template Facebook group that I created. It's just a template group. It's just for coaches so that you guys have access to an actual live group of it. So that, for my 30-day accountability groups, because I talk about that a lot in my documents, you could see exactly what it is, and you can just download the pics, and you can download the information and all of that. So I tried to make it as simple as possible, but that's obviously hard when it's, like you guys know, everything's such a process. And so it is a lot of information, but I hope you guys will find it very helpful. So on tonight's call, I really wanted to just kind of share with you guys a bit more about the free group formula for everything really Beachbody related. And I don't know, like, how many of you are already using free groups? Like, do you usually? Okay, good. Perfect. So all of you. Awesome. And I don't know how often you do them, but I would recommend at least one a month. And I would think, okay, perfect. And I would say, as much as possible, create your own. Create your own. It's great to have, like Vicki's such an incredible leader, so she's obviously offering you guys a free group every month to use. I would think you're better off creating your own, using her template or somebody else's, or creating your own template and just having it privately for yours. It's such a great chance to become more familiar with challenge groups. It gives you a sense of ownership and responsibility that is obviously super key to growing as a coach, yet it's not necessarily the same type of pressure you might feel from hosting your own 30-day accountability group, which could sometimes seem like overwhelming for people. So a free group is so great. Always, my recommendation's always 5 to 7 days. And I actually find 7 is a very nice number, and I'll explain why for the transitioning into challenge groups concept. But I would personally, I've done all of them, all sorts of different types, and anything over 7 days, you start to lose people like crazy, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for you for the group to not end on a high note. You want people to be telling you, oh my God, you have to keep that group open. I can't go another day without it. You go, sorry. Like, no, obviously you're being nice, but you want people to leave there feeling like, I want to continue, because then they'll want to join your next free group. So that's super key too. Just a couple tips on my free groups and how I run them. I do not insist people join as me as their free coach. I don't care. They could be a coach. They could be a coach on a different team. I wouldn't care. I'm not afraid that they're going to steal clients, or, everybody's pretty ethical. And so it's more, when I create them, it's more to build a lot of momentum, to give people value, all people value, and to meet a lot of new people. And it's mostly to meet new people, offer value, and build momentum, so that people are like, this is so fun. Like, because for me, my personality is a yellow, and fun is like right up there. It has to be fun. It has to be worth my time and energy to go in there. And so that's in like an active group. I know some people find that like overwhelming and they won't enjoy that, but to me, it's the opposite. It's like, if there's a lot of people posting, it's like, oh, there's something here. And that gets people excited. Okay, so when it comes to free groups too, definitely pick topics that you love, and keep it super simple. Like, some of the best groups I've had, the more simple the group, the better. You're better off providing them a 10-minute fitness group, which I have going on this week, or a 5-day lunch group, 5-day lunch recipe group, or something like that, than a 10-day like fitness, nutrition, support, blah blah, like the whole shebang. You're going to lose people. They won't join. They're going to be like, too complicated. People are very finicky like that. They just like, oh wow, 5-minute abs, I want to join that, and like, oh wow, one pot meals, I want that. Like, it's crazy. In my experience, that's been a very big one. And I've had a lot of success with things that are fitness related, nutrition related, and I don't find that's a bad thing to offer. Like, I know for a time there, we're kind of like, offer things that aren't fitness or nutrition related. So it just doesn't seem like you're trying to get people, I guess. I don't know what the strategy was. But for me, not anymore. I'm like, I get so much more traction from fitness and nutrition groups. So I'm like all the way with those. And then let me see. Fun free groups, Lori. Okay, I would say that it's really just more, you can ask around in the groups. Like, Vicki might have links to her free groups, and I can't think of any specific lists right now personally, but I would just ask. And I'm sure in your group, if you guys start a post, a thread about like, hey, what free groups have you guys done in the past that have worked well, you'll have like 100 people. Well, I don't know, but you'll have a lot of people who will respond. Okay, so other than that, let me take a look at my doc. Whoops, I'm going to lose you guys. So what I do with the free groups, the first thing is I choose the one I want, and then after I set up the group, they do take a bit of time. Like, they take planning. So for them to work well, it takes planning. So like, for example, this week I have a 10-minute fitness group. I used an old template of mine, so it was easy to create the documents or what have you, the material. And I set it all up in there on Thursday using Buffer. So that's the app to post, that you can schedule your post to go out. And then once it was all set up and ready to go, then I start to invite people. And I'll do one invite on, I'll invite on my personal page and say, hey, I'm doing this. I sometimes will just add the link in there right away. And I'll just say, if you want to join us, just click join and tag 2 friends. And if they do tag 2 friends, awesome. And if not, that's fine too. I'm not too picky about it. But I find that usually still builds enough momentum. Now, this is one thing I did this time that was like insane. Like, this week I had my very best free group, because I added about 200 people in one day on Facebook because of this one free group. And it was moms, and it was people my age, and it was like because the 10-minute fitness, and I call it, we don't sweat, we sparkle. And so that's going to attract me. That's not going to attract, like, people who are not into me, or who don't connect at all to me. And so that was a big key part of it. And what I did was, with my theme of fitness, I went in the night before, on Sunday night, I went into a few different mom groups that have a lot of people, so like active mom groups. And I went into a lot of like free events in my home city and stuff like that, like those kind of, you must have a million interest groups that are like free events for moms and free events for families or whatever. And so I went into like all of those, buy, sell giveaways in my community. And I just posted a really basic invite. And it was no links. It was no picture. It was just, hey, a few friends and I are putting together a 10-minute fitness group, starts tomorrow. Just going to post like a 10-minute program every day, like a list. If you guys want to join us, just let me know if you're interested or whatever. It was just insane. All night, there were so many. Facebook kind of like blocked me from the groups. Like, you can't comment anymore. You can't think. I'm like, oh boy, I better watch out. So then I just like said, okay, anybody, if you want to join, just send me a friend request and I'll add you. And then I had so many people. And so now it's 2 days in. And because it's so busy, I don't have to be in there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be in charge of making the group work, because there's so many of them. There's 250 of them. They're doing it, and I'm putting out the material. I had that all set up already. So that group has actually not been a lot of work for me this week at all. But instead, what I did right when I posted this, we'll say, so they all joined on Sunday. They started my free group on Monday. Then Monday night, I posted an invite to a challenge group on my page. And I was like, oh, whatever. I created my invite with my call to action. And I got about 10 new people who commented on just the post, plus some people that messaged me about it, which is very good for me. I mean, if you guys get more than that, congrats. You got to do a team call on how you do that, because that's a high number for me. And so it was really nice, because now people are aware of what I'm doing. If they hate the style, like if they're like, oh, you're a Beachbody coach trying to sell me something, they'll just leave my network. No worries. We don't have to spend 3 months till we get to that point. So it's easier that way. And then this way I get to know who wants to work with me. And I found so many people were also just messaging me throughout the day. I need to lose weight. I need to do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like all day long, I've been so busy these last 2 days just messaging people about health and fitness. I'm like, I didn't even have to ask any of you. This is so awesome. This never happens. But anyway, and so that was the strategy. So on Sunday, they join my network on Monday, and then they get 7 days of really good, value in this group. I offer an incentive for people who participate. And so now we're just going to continue. And all this week, now that I'm sort of like, things are calming down with the invites and all that, I'm going to be going in there, building relationships with the people in there. And from there, just connecting with them. There's probably going to be a few just organic invites to challenge groups, organic, like presenting coaching just through the conversations that happen. And then, though, at the very end, and again, this is a bit of planning on your behalf, but it's totally worth it. On that Monday, so we'll say like the group will run from a Monday to a Sunday. And so on the last day, the next day on that Monday evening, I will host an event in a Facebook event about my challenge groups. And so on the Sunday, when I'm done in the group, I'll say, okay, we're going to, tomorrow I'm going to choose a winner, the one who wins the draw prize for participating. And so people are still engaged. Plus on the Sunday, I say tomorrow night, I'm going to be hosting an event. Here's the link to that event. And same thing with the Monday. When I do my video and I thank everyone and all of that, then I say, here are your next step options. If you want to join another group, you just leave your email below, like a free group. And I name off a few things, mostly just that. I talk about coaching, how that's an option. Very simple. And then after I mention my event, and again, I put a link to the event down there. Then I personally like to really beat the dead horse, I guess. I don't know. I just want to make sure that people get invited, because this is how you connect to the right people. And so then I will go and I'll message them too. And I'll say, thank you so much for joining. Just want to make sure that I just wanted to let you know that I am having an event tonight about my 30-day challenge groups. Would you like more info on it or something like that? So that's my invite. So right now, because this wine group is so big, I likely will not invite 250 people on Monday. I better not. I really should not do that. I should spend my time elsewhere. But I probably will go and see who participated most in the challenge group. And if they seem like people who would enjoy my 30-day groups, then I would private message them to make sure they know about it and to offer my help. Because they're obviously already building trust with me. And so it's worth the invite. It's worth asking. And then again, and that's it. And then after on the event, at the event, I'll be hosting then on the Monday night. And I mean, that's another call in itself. I could go into those details, but I don't want to overwhelm everyone. So I'll just stop there for now to see what Vicki wants how she'd like for me to continue and to answer any questions before we go on to the next thing.
Okay, so I absolutely love this. My hand is cramping because I'm writing so fast. But so I have a question for you real quick, and I think this is something that maybe a lot of people notice too, or maybe it's just me and I'm crazy. So you said that when you are running your free event, you post about your next challenge group on that Monday. So basically the day one of your free group. No.
Yes, sorry, but on my personal page.
Oh, on your personal page. Yes. Got it. Okay.
So I have these 200 plus new friends on my personal page. So on Monday, I posted an invite.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. So that these new friends who are meeting me for the first time, we've known each other for less than 24 hours, oh, she's a Beachbody coach. And they can decide what they want to do with that. And so that's how I did it, but not on the event page.
Okay, so I also have a question for you. Do you think it would be more beneficial for people, whether they're a brand new coach or been a coach for a long time, to have a plethora of different free groups, or one or two that they could switch back and forth from?
I think that would depend where you're advertising them. So if you are just posting about it in your personal page and not in interest groups, or not in large interest groups with large amounts, if you're keeping it to small groups of people, if you're presenting it to small groups of people, then in my opinion, you have to change up the material a lot. Okay. Because they've already done it and they're like, no, I know we just did 10-minute fitness, but when you're meeting a lot of new people, if you have a big push for some reason, you found some sort of one of those, how sometimes you can have these fancy questions in the interest groups, and it's if you're born in December, send them a friend request. You guys ever seen those? It's very random, and then all of a sudden you got 40 new friend requests. They're oh, fun. But anyway, if you have a big push of new people, then you can just reuse an old group because those people have never seen it for sure. And when it's a very large group where you're just going to get lost in the mix anyway, then you could reuse them because you'll likely find that will probably be new people. But some interest groups are 100 people, 200 people. They all see the same stuff. So I would definitely change it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then when you said that you tell them about your hosting an event, when you host the event, do you go live in the event to talk about your upcoming challenge group?
Yes. I do.
Good. I learned from the best. I know you do, but I'm just making sure that everyone else is aware of that for all of you who have not done Facebook Live yet. But
I have to shout out Vicki, because Vicki's the one who introduced it to me. The concept, when we went live this, it seemed like it was the summer or maybe a little in the spring, live videos kind of came out, and Vicki's you should do an event. I did this event. I'm oh my gosh, this is a game changer. To invite people to the live event instead of just going live, and so anyway, it's great. Worth it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Did you have something else, Vicki?
No. Does anyone else have any questions so far?
I saw Holly's question, and I think it was, I might have missed some of those let me just see, like, okay, so I'll just say what I kind of quickly saw, and if it's wrong, you guys can just stop me. But I heard somebody say that you're worried about what do you do when there's lack of participation. All right, and just to the record, this week's group has been amazing. I've had some flops, lots. So it's not like every group is the gold, like the greatest day of your coaching life. But really what I found with coaching in general, the way you get really good groups is when you keep going after bad ones, you know, and it's true. Like, you just keep going, trust in the process, that's how it works. It's gotta be, there's peaks and valleys all the time to everything. So definitely remember that, because there have been some bad ones. But anyway, the best strategy I found to overcome that and how to build momentum, and this is something I've actually just started with this 10-minute fitness group, but I did it for the first time this summer, is that I offer an incentive to participate. And that's basically it. You offer an incentive to participate, and people love prizes. So I give like a $20 gift card to the winner, and you could base it on however large your group is and however much of your income, you know, like what your budget's like. It could be something small. It could be a $5 gift card. It could be a Shakeology cup or whatever, like a shaker cup. I personally prefer a gift card because I can email it. Like, I could just send it to somebody, and we're in Canada, and if they're in the US, and then like shipping will cost me more than whatever I send them. So it's like,
can I add something real quick? So actually, I believe it was Teresa that talked to me about this. So if you guys have audibles, you can actually send somebody personal development, like if they, so they can listen to books. So like, that is also a great incentive as well. So exactly. I think everybody needs personal development, whether you're a challenger or a coach or whatever. So that's another good
totally. I've meant to do that. I wanted to do that, and I didn't know if I could. So thank you for that. And what I've done in this last group, because I've done like cooking groups or whatever, or you could do this where you like post a recipe, and then after, for people to win the incentive or whatever, to be part of the draw, they just have to post like how it went that day, you know? So like, we'll say, here's today's recipe, post below to be entered into the prize draw at the end. And that's good, and people will definitely participate that way. But what I've done in this new group, which has been very good, is they're asked to post a motivational quote or something inspiring or whatever. And so what I like about that, people just love, I guess because I've been doing this for so long, they kind of like, they don't really inspire me as much anymore. I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever, all of these like famous quotes and stuff, but some people just love them, and they're like, you know, they constantly want to post them, and they find it very easy to post whatever we see on Pinterest, and basically the stuff we post though too. And so it gives them a chance to do that. It builds the engagement in the group, and then you know who's really into posting and into sharing, and in other words, could be a very good coach. And so it gives you a look at who are the active people who would actually enjoy what we do. So definitely it's incentive, number one, and keep the way to get the incentive simple, but still ensure that they do share. Have you done that before, Holly, and it didn't work?
I haven't actually tried that. Most of my free groups have been like old.
Uh-oh. You cut out, Holly.
And I thought I was giving really great value, but I'm just not getting the work, but they're just not talking a lot.
Yeah. So I found too with free groups, it's so funny because you don't have to give very much. Do you know, like with a large free group, they don't really want very much. The simpler, the better with these groups for some reason. And so, you know, just if it's like, if the incentive is like, just share the first word that came to mind when you were finished your workout or whatever. You know, we'll say if it's like a 10-minute fitness one, and like, okay, here's the workout. Comment below with the first word that comes to mind when you finished your workout. And then people like, that's something so simple. They'll be like, crazy, I'm dead, or whatever, and all these different things. And so it's like, that's it. Then they will do it. And then it didn't take too long for you too, right? Like you don't have to be at home trying to recreate the wheel and create this whole eating plan and all of this. And whenever I've done that, which I have of course done, because we fail forward. But it's like all that work and nobody showed up. And then you're like, oh man, that sucked. So just as simple as is the best. Were there any other questions about that? Okay.
I'm scoping in here real quick to see.
Yeah, sure. And so if you're wondering, like I went over it here tonight. Thank you. Thanks, Jen. If you're wondering like more about like step by step, I have that document that I put in Vicki's page. And so it shows exactly step by step how I do it. And I actually put the 10-minute fitness group in there. So like the pictures and everything else. And so the daily participation, because if you have a group of 200 people, and if you say the way you win or the way you're entered into the draw is by posting a motivational quote, well, you can't, I don't think you won't want to go through the group after and count, okay, Vicki posted one. There's one from Tracy. There's one from Katie. Like you're going to be there for a week. So what I do is I create an album and it's like I posted something extra on Monday. Like that's the pick. I posted something extra on Tuesday. I posted something extra on Wednesday. And then they have to put their name under every day that they shared something extra. And that's how I base the incentive prize.
So make them do the work. That's good.
You gotta and I wish I had learned that the first
day. Yeah.
But it was after like so many scroll throughs and you're like, this is not effective. Boy, that I'm messed up. There's gotta be another way.
Yeah. It's even when I do the raffles for people that share the videos, in our Facebook Live, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I wish there was some way. But Ashley asked, when adding to your network, do you message each new person every day?
I would no, I don't actually. But what I would do is I try to message 10 new people a day. And so usually it's on Instagram because there's so many there. and to be honest, if it were just Facebook, I would not be able to message 10 new people a day because I don't have 10 new friends I add on my Facebook personal page a day. That's very, very rare. And so right now that I have 200, I actually hired Carrie Tidswell. Is that her last name?
Tidwell, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tidwell, thank you. She's my assistant, and basically what I use her for is for adding the names of my new friends on Facebook into my contact list because I just don't. And then they disappear into my Facebook list and I'll never think of them again kind of thing. So she adds them in there. And then after we have a system together, so I know who I've never talked to yet. And then every few days I'll go and I'll go through 10 of them and I'll message them. So out of this new round of people, they're all going to be added to there and I will go through it. And then when I'm in there, I'm like, oh, okay, well actually, Katrina's a coach, so I won't have to message her. And then I kind of clean them up and stuff like that and decide if I should message them. Because another big thing that I'm learning by failing forward is that when you say yes to one person or when you say yes to one thing, that means you're saying no to another. So when I'm messaging someone who's not an avatar, someone who's really, if I go to their page, I could sense that they are not ready for a challenge group. I could sense that they're not ready for my level of intensity, and stuff like that. So then if I'm being smart, I should not message that person because if I'm messaging her, I'm not messaging another one in there that is right for me and that I'm right for them. And so I'm trying to be better at that, but I often feel like, well, they're my friends in my network, I should message them, even though 2 years later, that kind of person has never joined a challenge group with me. They usually we don't build a relationship together, but it still takes me a long time to learn that lesson. I don't know why.
One thing that I have to say, and I'm very grateful that you brought this up, is this is something that you've been working at for 2 years. So when you guys think about that, like how many times have you guys tried to do a free group or a challenge group and it failed? Like you get no participation, or like the first week, right? Like we've all done that. And sometimes it discourages us, right? And so we're like, I'm not going to run a free group this month. I'm not going to run a challenge group. I'm not going to invite, because if all I'm going to do is put in all this work and they're just going to be, you know, just wallflowers here, or no one's going to show up or whatever. It's a learning process. Everything we do in this business is a learning process, right? Like we try different programs. Either we love them or hate them. Either they work for us or they don't. We move on. We keep moving forward. We never stop. So Corrine admitted, like, this is something that she's been working at, and she finally has it down and she's sharing it with you. So try it out and adjust accordingly that fits to your needs and your lifestyle and things like that. But don't think like, because you've tried a free group before and it failed miserably, that you can't give this a shot. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for sharing that part with us, because I think so many people think that free group should be easy, right? That should be easy. That's where you should get everybody wants to join in the free group and they're all going to participate and they're all going to be like engaging and stuff. And then it comes and you're like, it's crickets and I'm the only one posting in here. And what's going on? But you just got to keep going.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've had all of those terrible things. I've had so many, like, you know, you have groups where people are gung-ho and then they never show. They buy a challenge pack. We talked about it. We worked on it for a week. Okay, getting you set up. Okay, here I go. They disappear. You never hear from them. They never return your messages. And you're like, I thought you wanted, like, didn't you spend a lot of money? And didn't we talk about this? And weren't you ready? And so anyway, so everything we lived through and I lived through. And it's just, in my experience, it's always just keep going forward. Trust that what Vicki tells you is true. What Andrea, what the leaders, what they're telling you is true. And that's what works. And allow yourself the time to learn and to grow with it, but keep growing. So it's really just that. You have to be patient in allowing yourself the time to make mistakes and grow from it. And if like what I'm saying is overwhelming, I would have felt overwhelmed too in the beginning from something like this, from not having done it. And it's not a question of how long you've been doing it, but it's how often you've been doing it too. And, you know, how consecutively. So I think it's just that, just keep going. And even like what you said, Vicki, with programs, I think almost every program I've ever done from Beachbody, I did not like it the first 2 weeks. And I usually stopped. And then I restarted and I'm like, oh, actually, I kind of like it. So you got to like give it a chance, you know? And it's the same with everything that we do, except quarter force. I love quarter force.
I know. I don't think there's one person out there that does not like quarter force. It's crazy.
It is so good.
Oh, Lori, get out of here. You're good at your country heat. You could stick to that. One thing too to remember is we're not perfect. Our groups don't have to be perfect, and you can make mistakes and be humble about it and stuff. And like, I'm going to be honest, I stopped, like I told you guys, I posted in the group, I'm like, okay, October is the last month. We're going to do a team-wide clean eating group. If you want to do it, you host your own. I'm done doing it because what I wanted to start doing is be geared towards my mission statement, right? Which has a lot to do with building inner strength, which is self-love. And I had every intention to create a group for November, my self-love free group in November. I'm sure you guys seen my thing for marketing plan, right? Everyone's like, ooh, when is the self-love group going to be posted? I didn't get to it. I did not get to it. And I didn't want to half-ass it. So I just did not do one, because like Corrine says, it takes time to put something together. And especially if you want to transition them, especially if you want to earn their trust. First and foremost, it's not so much about transitioning them. It's just earning their trust and that connection. You don't just want to throw a bunch of crap together and then call it good, right? So I'm humble. I made a mistake. I didn't get to it. Hopefully December.
Well, it's like so. That's why Melanie Mitro is so like a superwoman. Yeah. Because she gets to everything.
I know.
How did you do that? That's impossible. I'm like trying to get to everything and I'm not getting everything. Okay. What did you say when you're done with an event? I'm sorry, I missed it. Somebody said.
Holly said, when I'm done with the event, do I cancel it?
I don't. I just leave it.
Yeah, I do too.
Actually, I prefer to leave it. Then you go back and you're like, how did I do that last group? Okay, go back. Oh, good. My template's still there.
Well, and see, when I do an event, I've never done an event in groups per se, but when I do an event, like for my Facebook Live videos, I'll extend the event itself a week later. So people could still come in and watch the Facebook Live video. Maybe they missed it, or maybe their friend shared it on their page and they want to go back and watch it. So I always extend the event so people could still come back and watch the Facebook Live video. But you guys, if you do a Facebook Live video, whether it's for a coaching opportunity, sharing part of your story, inviting them to a challenge group or whatever, create an event, because that will make all the difference of your audience. And do a Facebook Live video. Do it.
More fun.
Yay, Lori. Okay, I got to do a quick shout out. Lori is 32 months. 32 months sober today. She did a Facebook Live video, and I'm super proud of her.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Yeah. It's great.
So yeah, very excited. So, and Lori was one who was scared of Facebook Live videos, right, Lori? And now look at you go, girl. I'm very proud of you. Who all has done a Facebook Live video so far?
Proud of you.
Good job. Katrina, have you?
Your hand up. Or was your hand up, Jen?
Jen has not.
No, how come?
She needs to do one. All right.
Well, and just to clarify again, so in that group, in the file section there's tons and tons and tons of info, and like there's a doc. I didn't talk about it, but like my steps to filling a challenge group. It's a long doc. It's like probably about 15 pages or something, because it does take a long time when you go from your initial invite to the time they join a challenge group. But I wanted to make it available to you guys because when I follow that, I usually get challengers to buy, like to get started with challenge packs.
I'm sure everyone on here that I drive that shit crazy, pardon my French, with my lack of systems, they're like, oh my God, Corrine, this is like money right here. So thank you so much. Thank you.
I think it's money. I'm like, this is gold. What? Yeah. People should be using this. This works.
I know. You're amazing. Yeah, she did. If you guys have not seen in the big team page, she did add a couple docs in there with all her information. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Corrine. That's awesome.
Sure. Thank you, everyone, for the nice comments.
And don't just let this be another national wake-up call that you hear, or another training that you get where it just goes on your notebook pad and then it goes in one ear and out the other. Like, actually take some of these action steps and implement it. Take some time. Go over her 15-page invite process and really learn some stuff, because especially in the inviting, where a lot of us are scared to invite, or we wait for the perfect opportunity, the floodgates to open and be like, here's the greatest way to invite, or here's the best time to invite. That's never going to happen. So take some time and read this, because maybe it's going to help you be more confident and comfortable when it comes to inviting people. And so it's not going to be that frog that you just never eat. It's going to be that thing you do every single morning first thing, and then you're going to be like, woo.
And the invites, actually, it's not scary once you start. Like, it's really not. And now for me, I'm like, I better invite, because I know how long it takes for that invite to grow into an actual trusting relationship where they're ready to work with me, So there's a lot more that goes into it too. So it's so key to just start that conversation and let it happen. And you know what? Like, I think for me, I would have stopped myself so much from fear of people rejecting me from it, and looking like no's or crickets, or unfriending me or blocking me. A block would have been like, oh my God, I should stop coaching altogether. And now it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I'm like, okay, I guess, sorry, I hope I didn't offend, but and then you move on, and that's fine. It was that person, you were not meant to help them. Like, it's totally fine. Just keep going, because there are so many other people who will really want and value what you have to offer.
Right.
And even just quickly, sorry, because I know that I'm going to go over some of my fears that I had in the beginning that held me back for so long. I wouldn't have wanted to put an invite post in like a mom group from fear that people would think that I'm just a Beachbody coach and I'm just bothering people or whatever. And so just the other day when I did that, and there were so many comments, and I'm going through the comments and messaging people, and one I come across one, and it's like, she's a Beachbody coach. This is her way to get you to join her network, and this is her way of like getting you or something along that. And so I was like, I saw it and it's made me stop. And I was like, oh, that doesn't feel good. And then like, okay. And then you keep going. And then there was like another 60 comments under there. So I'm like, I guess people don't mind that I'm a Beachbody coach and this is my way, like, you know, or whatever. Like if someone saw that, there were still 60 other people who are like, that's fine. We're cool with it. Let's do this. Like, you have value to offer me. I'm going to take it. And those are the people that you want to work with, and hold your head up high that you're offering value. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's always going to be people, no matter what you guys do, how perfect your post is, how specific you make your wording so it doesn't sound like you're salesy or pushy or whatever. There's always going to be some a-hole that gets on there because they're unhappy with their life, and whatever you're offering, they can't be a part of in some way, shape, or form. And so they're going to call you out on it. You know what? That has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And like Corrine said, look at all those other people that you're inspiring or helping or want to join you or want to hang out with you or whatever. Those are the people that matter, not this person that is coming to say words just to say words. You know, like we think so much, we're so fearful of that one negative comment that we're disregarding all the amazingness that could come out of an invite or a post or talking about being a Beachbody coach on personal development or on social media. That was weird. On social media, we let fear hold us back from so much. Like, let me ask you guys a question real quick and be completely honest. How many of you did not send at least one invite out today?
Mm-hmm.
And how many of you did not send an invite out today because of something that had to do with fear? Oh, well, Holly, Angie, Lori, okay. Katie, okay. See, what you guys, I don't know if you guys seen my live video today in the Facebook group. Like, I went on a rampage for just a quick sec. Here we are, like, we put so many excuses why we don't do certain things, right? Why I didn't get my workout in today. Why I'm not reading personal development right now. Why I'm not inviting. You guys are not a Beachbody coach just to sit around and hang out. I know you guys love our Tuesday Zooms. Maybe that's why you're still kicking and trucking along as a coach. I don't know. I hope that's not the reason. You have dreams. You have these passion that you want to fulfill, and you're not going to fulfill them if you just keep holding yourself back. There's so many people where we used to be in our darkest moments. There's so many women out there right now that are terrified. They have no support. They have no self-esteem. They have no self-worth. They're scared. They don't know what to do with themselves. And they need someone just like you to go out there and help them. But you will never find them if you let your fear hold you back. Right? And it sucks. Like, it sucks when we get no's. It sucks when we get rejected. It sucks when we get blocked or banned or whatever. Facebook tells us you can't play music in your workout videos anymore, whatever. There's so many things that could hold us back. But do we let them, or do we have to let them hold us back? No, because we have a passion. We have a mission to fulfill. And we need to stop letting fear or excuses or other things hold us back. We got to keep trying. Something doesn't work, like Corrine said, try something else. If that doesn't work, give it another shot, because just because you didn't like it the first time or didn't do good the first time, you got to try it again. Just like I tell my son, you cannot guarantee you do not like something I'm trying to feed you unless you try it 10 times. 10 times. It takes 10 times for you to actually tell me you don't like it, and then you'll never have to eat it again. So give it another shot. I'm done with another rampage.
It's so true. And the value in coaching, I'm sure Vicki would really agree to that, because I'm sure yours has grown so much more than mine. But the true value is in the person you become when you push past those fears. And it's like, it's unbelievable. For me right now, where I am in my business, I'm still not making as much as I'd want, like on paper, it's not like, wow, that's unbelievable, or anything like that. But inside, I feel like I've grown so much as a person. I've learned more in 2 years as a coach than I did in my 6-7 years of university, or whatever. And it's because of the person you become, and the person you're becoming, it's always you against you. It's always against the girl in that mirror. And I love that. I want to beat her every time. I'm so competitive with her. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I don't want to quit on my family. I don't want to quit on all my clients. I don't want to quit on all my friends on social media. I don't want to quit on anyone. So I'm going to keep beating her, and I'm going to keep doing better than I was yesterday. And some days I fall, but you know what? I'm still going to win the war. I'm going to win
Yes.
it. And that's so fun. That's the fun is in the growth that for yourself. It's great.
Right. I love that. You just give me goosebumps. Hey. Okay. Tracy said, I've learned more in the last 6 months as a coach than I have in 2.5 years because you were ready for growth, right? You're ready.
Mm-hmm.
You can share your fears and how you have overcome them. Your story is amazing. I got to say, Katie Lewis did a post recently about how she was afraid of coaching and inviting, and she like laid it all out on social media. She was like, here's the truth. And then look at her. Like, Katie, you are so amazing. You share your ugly, scary fears on social media, and you get so much great feedback from people, right? And it's weird just putting that online, and I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't have anything to say.
You just say it on social.
You get good feedback when you post your fears and you're vulnerable on social media, right?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know what good is.
Okay, well, you have a lot of traffic on every single one of your posts when you say that you're scared or that you were fearful of doing something or you never thought you'd be a good coach. And then everyone and their grandpa is like, oh my God, Katie, you're so inspiring. You're so amazing. And
I got a lot of traction on the one where I opened up and I told people that Frank sold LuLaRoe and that he's done more sales in the past like 3 weeks than I've done in the past almost I've been in coaching actively a coach for 6-7 months now. And everybody was like, you know what, you do what you do is way harder and you have to accept that. And, you know, it's not just like an automatic thing. So I got a lot of good feedback from that one. That one was great. That
was an awesome post, by the way. And I'm anti LuLaRoe leggings, by the way, Frank. Unless he sells me some or sends me some buttery pants, I'm against those.
I think your butt would pop them. You have a huge booty.
That's meant as a compliment, right?
Yeah.
My butt would pop them. Oh my God.
Like Michael's comment about you having a tree trunk or whatever.
Babe, you're like a tree trunk. That's not a nice thing to say. God. I'm like, call me a brick house or, you know, like, a tree trunk. I think of like a 75-year-old like evergreen. Like, that's not, thank you. Hey. Whatever. Okay, does anyone have any more questions for Corrine? All right, everyone's quiet. Yes, Tracy, also make sure that you're sharing your story at all times. Don't hesitate to be vulnerable on social media. And I just lost my track of thought. And one thing that when we did the Unstoppable Misfits Art of Recruiting with Josh Coates, I know a lot of you guys were in there, but he said in your Transformation Tuesday posts and things like that, always put a call to action. And I'm telling you, just saying like comment below or message me if you need help, or if you're in a place where I used to be on the before photo or whatever, that has seriously, like I learn and grow every single day. And I've started doing that since we did that group at the beginning of the month last month. And it's been such a huge game changer too, by just like sharing your story and saying, hey, if you're currently sitting at the place where I used to be and you need help, if you need support, if you need, you know, whatever, comment below. And then you can invite them to your free group, or then you can invite them to, you know, your email list or however you connect with people. But don't hesitate to reach out to people. All you guys need to know your self-worth and what you have to offer to people. You all are amazing. And you also have something that you need to be aware of. You also have a complete different audience than every other single person on here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when I hear people saying like, how can Melanie Mitro get all these people on her live videos? Or how can so-and-so, how can Corrine get 200 people in her groups? Or how can Teresa do this or whatever? It's because they have a different audience than you, right? All of our avatars are completely different. They have some same attributes, but they're all different. So don't compare yours to anyone else's. Just like Corrine said, she's fighting the person that she used to be. She's fighting the person in the mirror. That's it. That's the only person she's competing with. And that's who you should do the same thing to.
She's quite the competitor too, boy. I wish she wasn't so hard to fight all the time, but whatever. Fight.
Pull hair, call names.
Mine can be such a biatch sometimes. Sometimes I have to tell her to shut up. That's all.
As long as she's not saying anything mean to you, don't let her talk down on you.
I think we are all our worst critics.
We are. This is true.
Big time, and that's a huge thing to work through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I talked to myself in the mirror for the first time this morning, and oh my God. That was like the worst thing ever. I felt like such a dork. But honestly, after I did that, I actually did feel better, and I felt a little bit more confident. And actually today I went out and I got a customer, my first customer that I've gotten in like 2 months. So I was like, I think I attribute that to the little pep talk I gave myself this morning.
That's awesome. I'm going to tell you, anything that you try for the first time, you're going to feel like an idiot. Like even when I meditated for the first time, I'm like, what if someone walks in? What if someone's looking at me through my window? Like, what do they think I do? Like, I just felt like anything, like when I first opened my first personal development book, it was The Magic of Thinking Big. I really thought I was an idiot. I'm like, this is dumb. Really? I wish I would have kicked myself in the butt. That's dumb. Like anything that we knew or anything that we do new that is actually bettering us, we think the worst of ourselves, which is completely idiotic, but we do. But the more you do it, just like Katie said, look, it worked. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it again tomorrow.
Pretty soon you'll be vlogging in the mirror.
Right. Yeah. Just setting up her phone. Hey, girl.
Morning vlogs.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so we can do a selfie.